Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're getting into something huge, those 16 marks that can seriously make or break your GCSE English writing grade. I'm talking about Assessment Objective 6. And look, this isn't just about being correct, it's about achieving total technical mastery.
So, how are we going to do this? Well, I've got a clear roadmap for you. We're going to take your writing from just okay all the way up to that grade 9 level. First, we'll see what the examiners are really looking for. Then, we'll build a rock-solid foundation, add in some seriously impressive tools, and top it all off with a bit of flair.
First things first, let's just focus on this number, 16. That's how many marks are up for grabs for AO6 in those big writing questions on both papers. That's a huge 20% of your total mark for each paper. You just can't afford to leave that many marks on the table. And hey, don't just take my word for it. This quote, it's straight from the AQA mark scheme itself. This is basically the examiners telling you exactly what they want to see. And look at those key words, range, purpose, and effect. See, they're not just ticking a box for correctness. They're looking for real skill, for craft. Okay, so here's the bottom line. Getting those top marks in AO6 is kind of like a two-part mission. You've got to have the flawless foundations. That means 0 simple mistakes. And then you build on that with some ambitious flair showing off what you can do. You absolutely need both. One without the other just won't cut it.
All right, let's get into it. Section 1. I want you to try and get inside the examiner's head for a minute. What does a top-level, grade 9 piece of writing actually look like to them when they're sitting there with your paper?
You know, the mark scheme basically hands us the checklist for top marks. Just look at this level 4 description. Consistently secure, wide range, full range for effect, secure control, extensive and ambitious. These words are so active, right? They're describing a writer who is absolutely in the driver's seat, totally in control of their work.
Okay, but before we get all fancy and ambitious, we have to talk about the things that will literally stop you from getting a top grade. I call them grade cappers. We've got to build that flawless foundation by stamping out the basic mistakes that will hold you back no matter how brilliant your ideas are.
And this is where we have to get serious. It's a non-negotiable. Examiners have, and I mean this, zero tolerance for simple mistakes like comma splices or spelling easy words wrong. Your number one job has to be hunting these errors down in your own writing and getting rid of them. Period.
And here it is, the number one most common grade capper of all, the comma splice. You know, when you stick a comma between two full sentences. To an examiner, that's a massive red flag. But look how easy it is to fix. You can use a semicolon for a really smart-looking link, or just a simple full stop to make two clear sentences. Either way, it's a huge improvement.
All right, now for the fun part. Once you know your foundations are solid, you can start playing around. We're talking about using advanced punctuation not just to be correct, but to add real style, rhythm, and impact to your writing. This is where you get to show off.
First up, the semicolon. I love this one. The easiest way to think of it is like a super comma, or maybe a more sophisticated full stop. It's perfect for when you have two complete ideas that are so closely linked, a full stop just feels too final, you know? It creates this really smooth, elegant connection.
Okay, take a look at this. The storm raged outside. He felt perfectly safe indoors. Now, there's nothing technically wrong here. They're two correct sentences, but it's a bit clunky, right? A little disconnected. For a grade 9, we can definitely level this up.
And now, look at that. Just one tiny piece of punctuation, and what a difference. The storm raged outside. He felt perfectly safe indoors. That semicolon creates this awesome contrast and just makes the whole thing flow better. It's like you're telling the reader these two ideas are a pair, chaos and safety, balanced perfectly. That is control.
Okay, next in our toolkit, the colon. The colon is all about creating anticipation. It's like a little drum roll in your sentence. It basically shouts to the reader, hey, pay attention. The important stuff is coming right up. Whether that's a list, an explanation, or a big reveal.
So let's look at this example. She knew what she had to do. She had to find the key. Again, totally correct. Does the job. But it's kind of flat, isn't it? There's no punch, no drama.
And boom, look at the after. She knew what she had to do. Find the key. So much better. The colon makes it way more dramatic, more direct. It gives you that tiny pause of suspense before you get the key info. This is exactly what examiners mean when they say use punctuation for effect.
Okay, so we've got control over our punctuation. Now let's apply that same idea to the actual rhythm and flow of your writing, your sentence structures. Because let's be honest, a top-grade piece of writing should never, ever sound boring or monotonous.
If you want to control that rhythm, you've got to be the master of these 3 sentence types. You use a short, simple sentence for a punch of impact. A compound sentence is great for balancing 2 ideas, and a complex sentence lets you weave in all that juicy detail. The real secret? It's not about using just one, it's about knowing how and when to mix them all together.
Let's look at a pro in action. Check out this bit from the Silk Factory. You get this long, winding, complex sentence. It's packed with detail, it's building this creepy, uneasy feeling, and then bam! A super short, simple, punchy sentence. Something wasn't right here. That contrast is just so powerful. It's totally deliberate and it works.
All right, so we've got our flawless foundation, we've got our sophisticated punctuation, we're varying our sentences. What's left? Well, it's the final layer of polish, the thing that really makes a great 9-piece shine, choosing precise, ambitious, and really effective words.
And yeah, you guessed it, it's right there in the mark scheme again. But let's be super clear, this is not about just finding long words in a thesaurus to sound smart. That's not it at all. When they say ambitious, they mean choosing the perfect word for that exact moment. The one word that says exactly what you mean with the most power and precision.
This table nails it. Think about it. A character doesn't just walk. I mean, did they saunter? Did they trudge like they were exhausted? Did they amble along? Or did they stride with purpose? Every single one of those words paints a totally different picture in the reader's head. That is what the examiners want to see.
So let's wrap this up. Here's your 4-step game plan for technical mastery. 1. Secure your foundations. No more easy mistakes. 2. Use that grade 9 punctuation kit. 3. Vary your sentence structures to control the rhythm. And 4. Choose your words like a surgeon, with absolute precision.
Look, hearing me talk about this is one thing, but you've got to put it into practice. So here's my challenge to you. Pick just one thing we've talked about today. Maybe it's a semicolon, maybe it's using a colon for drama, or even just throwing in a short, punchy sentence. Whatever it is, I want you to make a conscious effort to use it in the very next thing you write. Make it a habit, and trust me, you'll be well on your way to that grade 9.